Hello, my friends. Today we'll start with the fact that negotiations have entered a new phase. Zelenskyy has once again stated that he's ready to meet with Putin. Zelenskyy is ready to meet with Putin to resolve issues related to territories and the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant, Zabih said. He also noted that the Russian delegation has stopped reading pseudo-historical lectures and that noticeable qualitative changes have appeared. The negotiations are very difficult, but the talks were highly focused. As we can see, it was previously reported that the only unresolved issue was territory, but now it turns out that the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is also on the table. Accordingly, it remains unclear what was actually agreed upon during the trilateral negotiations. At the same time, given that Russia is seeking to achieve its goal at any cost, even nuclear, it has been reported that the Doomsday Clock has been moved. The hands of the Doomsday Clock now show 85 seconds to nuclear midnight, according to the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. The clock has never been this close to midnight, said Alexandra Bell, head of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. Last year, the clock showed 89 seconds to nuclear midnight. Meanwhile, Russia is increasingly shelling Ukrainian territory. Yesterday, they even struck a civilian train. Strike on a train in Kharkiv region. 4 people were killed and 7 injured. According to the regional military administration, the bodies of 4 victims and fragments of bodies were found on the railway in the Barvinkova community. The total number of victims is still being determined. A 29-year-old man and a 26-year-old woman were injured. Also, yesterday late at night, the Russians once again carried out a Shahed drone attack on Odessa. The death toll from Russia's massive attack on Odessa has risen to 2. During the clearing of the rubble of a destroyed building on Prokhorovsk Street, rescuers recovered the body of a man, the city military administration reported. Meanwhile, a coup appears to be brewing in China. A coup in China. A large amount of military equipment has been spotted across Beijing. A harsh purge is underway in the Chinese army. The Minister of Defense announced an investigation into General Chang Yuxia, a close ally and longtime associate of Xi Jinping. The general is suspected of leaking classified materials related to China's nuclear program to the West. According to Taiwanese sources, a coup against Xi Jinping was being prepared. This is the loudest purge at the top of the military leadership in a long time, and a direct continuation of Xi's anti-corruption campaign. Reports say that large amounts of military hardware are being recorded all over Beijing. Armed personnel have taken control of the historic Forbidden City. The Forbidden City is the largest palace complex in the world, located in the center of Beijing. It would be very good if Russians looked at China and also carried out a coup in Russia. That would solve all the problems, and Ukraine would immediately be able to return its territories. But for now, the war continues, so let's move on to the situation along the front line and start with the Sumy direction. Here, things are relatively quiet for now, and the Russians are not conducting any new assaults. In the Kharkiv direction, shelling continues, but there are still no offensive actions. At the same time, as I mentioned earlier, the Russians are striking even civilian trains. In the Vovchansk direction, The situation is bad. The Russians are breaking through in the Kharkiv area, assaulting Semyonivka and the outskirts of Vovchansk. Over the past day, they haven't managed to make significant advances. However, the level of activity remains high, and they are trying to push deeper into Ukrainian territory. Along the border, no new assaults have been recorded so far, and there have been no changes over the past day. In the Veliki Burluk direction, the Russians are trying to break through in the Dvorichansk area, but over the past day they haven't achieved any success. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russians are assaulting Petropavlivka, and yesterday's statement by the Russian Ministry of Defense about the capture of Kupiansk Vozlovy is not confirmed by anything. At the same time, Ukrainian armed forces soldiers report that Russian activity there has indeed increased. However, as we can see, there is no talk of a capture so far. For now, we are waiting to see how events develop further. In the Borova direction, there is a lull for now. No new assaults have been recorded. All previous attacks were successfully repelled, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Liman direction, the Russians continue trying to break through toward the outskirts of the city and are attempting to gain a foothold there. They are also assaulting Drobysheva, but over the past day they haven't achieved any new successes and the front line remains unchanged. In the Sloviansk direction, attacks continue near Ozerne and Dronivka, but Russian activity has decreased. They are carrying out only a few assaults per day and have had no success so far. It's possible they are building up reserves for more powerful attacks. For now, we are waiting to see how things develop. In the Kramatorsk direction, only yesterday information appeared that Russia has concentrated a force of around 80,000 troops here for a breakthrough toward Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. And late last night, reports coming specifically from the Ukrainian side began to emerge that Russian forces have captured Orikhovo-Vasylivka and are already trying to entrench themselves in Minkivka. Kramatorsk direction. The Russians have fully occupied Orikhovo-Vasylivka and a number of positions to the east. The Russians are also actively fortifying positions in Minkivka. Of course, we still need to wait for official confirmation and map updates, but it appears that the situation is gradually starting to worsen. In the Kostiantynivka direction, the Russians are advancing near Chasiv Yar, assaulting the outskirts of Kostiantynivka, Pleshiyivka, and Stepanivka. Activity here remains quite high. The Russians carry out up to 20 assaults per day. However, as before, they haven't been able to make any progress. In the Dobropillia direction, the Russians are assaulting Sofiivka and Nove Shahova and are breaking through toward the town of Bilitske. The situation is difficult, but so far they haven't been able to advance further. In the Pokrovsk direction, the Russians are advancing toward the village of Shevchenko, assaulting Rodinske, and attacking the village of Hryshine from two sides. Attacks along the western flank also continue. Despite the high activity, the front line hasn't seen any major changes so far. In the Novopavlivka direction, the Russians are assaulting Filia and Ivanivka, but they haven't been able to advance further, and the situation here remains stable. In the direction of the settlement of Pokrovsk in Dnipropetrovsk region, the Russians haven't carried out any new assaults, and the situation remains unchanged. In the Huliaipole direction, the Russians are assaulting Nove Zaporizhzhia, advancing past the villages of Dobropillia and Varvarivka, and attacking the outskirts of the town. Heavy shelling continues, but no new breakthroughs have been recorded over the past day. Fighting continues. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, assaults on Stepnohirsk and Primorsk continue. As before, the Russians are unable to consolidate their positions there. Still, the situation remains difficult. If the Russians manage to advance even a little, artillery strikes will follow, and all types of drones will become more active over Zaporizhzhia, making the situation there very bad. Meanwhile, Kartapolov in Russia has claimed that a front collapse is imminent.
The problems in the Ukrainian armed forces are obvious and understandable. Therefore, despite all of Zelensky's statements that everything is supposedly fine and that he won't do something, he will have to do it.
We'll see how events develop. In the Kherson direction, the Russians haven't carried out any new assaults, and there have been no changes over the past day. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.